Hello everybody, I'm eBrother9, and welcome back to Sonic Adventure DX. In the last episode, we finished Gamma's storyline. It was pretty intense, and he was kind of the final storyline. If you come into the adventure mode after you've completed all 6 storylines, you'll see we have a secret Super Sonic storyline. This is the end of the game. This is the last thing that you can do for the actual storyline, but if you remember, we only have 101 emblems, so we've got some things to do. We still have to finish Trial, we still have to do missions, we still have minigames, we still have chows. We've got a lot we have to get done, and we're gonna get the majority of it done in this episode with Trials, because we have to do both Big's Trials and Gamma's Trials. And, well, I guess I'll speed these up like all the others, especially because Big's are so long. These trials are ridiculously long. They're not, like, hard, they're just really, really tedious, but I'll talk more about it in a second. Let's get this started. Hold up! Wait just 1 second. I actually forgot a little bit something very important for Biggs, because I did not grab all of Biggs' upgrades in his particular storyline. There were 2 upgrades that I had yet to grab, and I'm gonna grab them right now because they are absolutely essential for all of his trials. The first one is here in the Mystic Ruins. You can see on the map, I'm that big purple shining dot. You can see a kind of little path right there that leads to a little circle area, like real close to me. In there should be an upgrade. Should be our 3rd lure upgrade. We need 4 of them. Yep, here it is. Alright, so that's our 3rd lure upgrade. Now we need to get another one. There is another one that I didn't grab, and that's over on the egg carrier. I will see you in one tiny little second. Alright, so if you come over here to the egg carrier where the hot shelter area is and where E101 beta was being made, and you come over into this area, Big, if you come over, Big, come on, work with me. If you come over to this area where there's the minigame, and then there's this jail area with Amy and that black egg, we actually have our last upgrade right here. So this is the final upgrade we need. Make sure you have every single one of the lure upgrades and the power rod. I guess it doesn't really matter if you have the longer casting distance, but you definitely want all of the upgrades to attempt these trials. So we'll make absolutely sure that you have so, and I guess now we'll go to the trial speed up. Alright, so after you've gotten all of Big's upgrades, it is time to do this. His trials. The worst part of this entire game. Oh my goodness. This is something here. Alright, so what we need to do is we need to catch a 1000 G weight fish, grams, 1000, it's grams, isn't it? Yeah, 1000 grams fish, and then you need to catch Froggy. That's just the B mission. For the C, or the A mission, not the C mission, you need to catch a 2000 gram fish and then catch Froggy. So really, you're just sitting here fishing for a really long time. And it kinda sucks. So I try to catch this big fish here, and he's really big, so he's like as big as Big is for the most part, so that's how you know he's a really big fish. I think he's a 2000 G fish, but for some reason he gets stuck. How stupid is that? I don't even know what was going on, and I was very salty right there. So then I come back and I try to catch another fish, and I find this big fish immediately. Which is something that doesn't happen as often. It's hard to find big fish, and sometimes you have to just fish all these other small fish first before you can actually manage to get the big fish to appear, but I found the big fish both times really fast, so that was nice. However, what's not nice is catching the big fish. I kind of mess up here a lot and manage to not get him on the line, which isn't really hard. Just make sure you move the control stick when he hits the when he grabs onto it, when the fish nibbles, all you have to do is hit the control stick. But that's not the worst part about this. The worst part about this is catching a stupid fish here in Twinkle Park. Oh my goodness, is this so annoying. So right now, I've sped this video up to 8 times its original speed, and you can see just how ridiculous this is. This is going to go on for a long while. I was sitting here for 25 minutes trying to catch this stupid fish, and I didn't even need to. This is a 2,000 gram fish. I just needed to catch a 1,000 gram fish, but here I am like, oh, I gotta catch this 2,000 gram fish just because I can, and then this happens, and it takes forever, and eventually I'm like, I should just let go, right? I should just let him go, but then I was kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, no, I've been doing this for so long. This is a matter of pride now. It's me versus this fish. One of us is going to win, and it's gonna be me. So I spent a long time here trying to get this stupid fish, and it's annoying because Twinkle Park's the worst place in the entire game to catch fish, because whenever you hook the fish, for some reason they swim really, really far before you can actually start reeling them in. They'll swim to like 20 meters away, and then you can start reeling them in. So even if you're right next to the fish when you get it on the line, that doesn't make a difference whatsoever, because it's stupid. They swim all the way away and then they never come back in. And I don't know, I hate Twinkle Park so much. This is my least favorite trial in the entire game. I hate this trial so much. I hate Biggs trials in general, because the fishing is super glitchy. You'll see a bunch of other instances of it being way glitchy, other than that first one where that fish I had on the hook just all of a sudden glitched out of the water and was just chilling there and I couldn't catch it again. But yeah, so I'm coming up to the end of my fight with this fish. You can see it's been a long battle, but I am not the one to win this battle. That's right, this fish gets off the hook, and I just kind of contemplate my life decisions for a little while. I was definitely really salty about that, so I had to take a little breather. Needed to grab myself some water and then get back into this. So when you're trying to find a big fish, all you need to do for 1000 G is just look for any of these regular metal fish, but don't go for the super big ones, because the super big ones are, as you can see, hard to catch. Just go for like a regular size fish. I'm pretty sure this green one here is only like 800 something, but if you don't see any fish that are the right size, just catch one fish, and then some more fish will kind of pop up out of nowhere, and then you can catch the fish you need. This is the fish that I ended up going for. He's over 1,000. And then after you do that, all you have to do is catch Froggy, which is a joke. The ultimate joke of this entire trial. Catching Froggy is so easy compared to any other fish you can possibly get. Froggy with his little 500 G is nothing. I'm pretty sure I catch Froggy instantly. Well, yeah, I don't just catch Froggy instantly. I get Froggy on the line, and as you'll see here in a second, I get him on the line. I'm going to slow this down to, well, not slow down, I'm going to put it down to real time, because Froggy gets on the line, I hit, and then immediately I catch him, even though he was still like 4 or 5 meters away. I don't know what happened there, but I'm okay with it. Glitches that help me in any way whatsoever are wonderful. I will take those any day of the week, because that's what I need in my life when I'm sitting here fishing for 25 minutes trying to catch this stupid fish. And now I need to catch an actual 200 G fish, and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm gonna have to spend another 25 minutes here trying to catch this stupid fish. But nope. As you can see, I caught it within like 5 seconds. I was so salty about that. And so I come over here, I'm like, hey, here's another 200 G fish. I just caught that one in like 2 seconds. I'm curious if I can catch this one pretty soon. And what do you know, I catch this one a little bit longer it took me to catch this fish. But it was still only like a minute to catch this one. And oh goodness, I was so salty. But then I was like, alright, cool. And I decided to take a little victory lap, like showing off my super fishing skills, because I had clearly become a boss. And I just wanted to take a cool victory lap. But that's all you need to do for Biggs trials. It's really just find a fish that's big enough, then catch it. Twinkle Park sucks the most because these big mechanical fish are the only ones you can find at the right weight, and they are horrible for catching. But the next stages are a lot easier. Ice Cap itself, I think, is one of the easiest ones. I prefer to come over into this area right here to catch my fish, but you're going to be looking for those red hammerhead sharks, or you can find yourself a blue shark. It looks just like a regular kind of, I think I pointed it out in one of the episodes. I think I pointed it out at Emerald Coast.
and Big's original. But you can almost always find this big red hammerhead shark right here every single time. I'm pretty sure every time I've come here, he's shown up. I don't know if he's always going to show up, but it doesn't take long for him to show up. And of course, for some reason, my line kind of glitched, and he got off the line without anything actually happening. I don't know what happened there. I was not happy about that whatsoever, but I decided to catch this other fish here because I only needed a 1000 G fish, and I was curious if that guy was big enough, and he was 1600 or whatever, so that made me happy. But ice cap's super easy because the hammerhead fish, I don't know why, but even if they're over 2000, or even if they're like healthily over 2000, like 2300, 2400, they are really, really easy to catch for some reason. I don't know what it is about them, but they are not a problem whatsoever. It's more like you're catching a 1000 G fish than a 2000 G fish. And you'll see here when I try to catch this one, because now I'm on the 2000 trial, and the same fish in the same area, this big red hammerhead over here, he's here every single time I've seen him. And of course this stupid fish gets on the line, even though I didn't touch anything when that fish got on the line. I literally didn't press a single button, but for some reason I got the hit. That happens sometimes. It's stupid. The controls in Big's stages are horrible, ridiculous, and I hate them so much because this fishing is so stupid. But it's okay because I come back and now there are two red hammerhead fishes, and both of them are big enough. You can usually tell if they're big enough if you go down right next to them and you can see that the length of their body is the same length or bigger than Big. That's how you usually know if the hammerhead fish are big enough. And they're almost always big enough. And as you saw right there, it took me no time to catch that red hammerhead, so A+, A+. And then of course catching Froggy is like super easy, one of the easiest things you'll do in these trials. Now we have Emerald Coast, which Emerald Coast kind of took me a while. It didn't take me a long time to do the 1000 G fish because there are a plethora of new kind of fish. You have the blue sharks, you have the red hammerheads like usual, but you also have these really cool red fish. You have these other, I think it's like gray fish, there's some yellow fish. There are a lot of fish that can easily be over 1000. I think there are a couple of them, if you get lucky, can be over 2000. Oh, and there's also there's a swordfish that can easily be over 2000 if you want to catch him. I never actually found one. Actually, you know what? I did find a swordfish once. It happens later, and I ended up not being able to catch him. I think the swordfish are harder to catch than the hammerheads. Every single time I've tried to catch a hammerhead that's over 2000, it has been really easy to catch them. I've messed up a couple times because I'm stupid when I'm trying to catch some fish, but usually they're super easy to catch. So I definitely recommend going for the red hammerhead fish, but I end up kind of going around trying to find a fish that's just big enough. I couldn't find fish that were big enough. I was finding all these 1000 G fish. I couldn't find any 2000 G fish, so I ended up just catching a bunch of fish here for a while, and it's really nothing interesting too much, and there's not much I need to talk about other than, hey, you can catch a 2000 G fish with almost every kind of fish you can see here. The easiest ones are the hammerheads, the blue sharks, and the the swordfish. I think they might spawn more in the secret area. I didn't go to the secret area, so I don't know for sure, but it's possible. And you can also find the mechanical fish here, but I would not recommend going for those because every time I've tried to catch a mechanical fish, except for that one time in Twinkle Park where I got two of them super fast, I almost always have a problem trying to catch the mechanical fish, so I would not recommend going for them. Definitely look for the hammerheads. I find those to be the easiest, but for the most part, that's all I need to talk about for this stage. There's nothing else I really need to say anything about. I don't think so I guess I'll just catch you back when we go to the last stage. Yeah, Hot Shelter. And for now, just listen to the music. Alright, now for Hot Shelter, the last of Big Stage. First thing that I want to show off in this stage is something that I kind of alluded to back when we were doing the stage for real. But if you remember, after we touch this switch, there's a little place that we can go into that leads to another place that had kind of a plug that they said, make sure not to trip over the plug because you don't want to unplug or whatever. And I decided to go over to this area and show off what you can find the rest of the stage. I actually didn't know most of this existed. I had no idea. But to pull the plug, all you have to do is let your lure drop into the area where the plug is, like you're about to see right here. And then you just got to pull real hard and all the water will drain, which allows you to come down into the main area. And you can see, of course, the area is filled up with more water. But there's also a second place you can come to if you come over to here. And you pop out after hitting this spring like 200 different times. Stupid thing wouldn't work with me. And you'll find this cool secret area, which leads to where those tanks that you could see, kind of like where Froggy was chilling, it leads to these tanks. And you can fish for some new fish over here. There aren't too many new fish in this area. There is this really big, kind of rocky looking fish, but I didn't really see most of them, and sometimes they can be over 2,000. That middle area right there, if you don't kill the monkey can throw a bomb, and the bomb will break the glass. I totally forgot to do that, and so you don't see that happen, and I'm not going to do it in the A mission either, because there's no need to do that. Because all the fish that you're going to find that are big are going to be in this area. It's not easy that they're going to be over in the tanks. You might find some there, like the big rockfish. You might be able to find one of those over 2,000. I've gotten close. I've found one like over 1,800, I think. But you're not going to find a lot of 2,000 fish. However, in this main area, you will find all sorts of 2,000 G fish. They are very plentiful. You'll see all sorts of hammerheads. You'll see all sorts of the blue sharks. Those guys are everywhere, and there are a lot of them. So it's not hard to find big fish, and it's not too hard to catch them either. The stage isn't too bad for trials. I prefer to catch these hammerheads because that's the way to do it. However, when you're trying to catch fish, I would not recommend pulling the plug, because for some reason, when you're trying to catch Froggy, if Froggy gets to a certain height, when he's close to you, the line just kind of snaps and you can't do anything about it. You'll see it happens to me right there, and it's going to happen to me like 4 or 5 more times because I thought it was just happening as some kind of glitch or something. I don't know. It's really weird what's going on here. I have no idea why it's happening, but it seems like if Froggy is kind of under you and gets to a certain height, maybe the height that's above the water point before you pull the plug, that for some reason it breaks the line. I don't know what's going on. So if you do have the plug pulled and you want to catch Froggy, it's actually better to go really far away and have Froggy kind of come at you at a more acute angle rather than kind of coming almost directly below you. I don't know why it happens. It's super stupid, and I was getting very salty about it because Froggy is super easy to catch. You just have to get him on the line. I end up restarting because I wanted to see if the water level would be back to normal, but no, when you restart, it just resets the water to whatever you had before you restarted, which of course, that would be the case. Whatever, it doesn't make too much of a difference. Otherwise, this stage is really nothing too special. So, I guess you can just watch me catch these fish for the rest part, and then I will meet you back when we go to Gamma stages. Alright, so now we have Gamma stages. Gamma B stages are pretty easy. It's just collect 50 rings and then finish the stage. Now the A stages are a little bit harder with some of them. You have to finish the stage with a certain amount of time left on the screen. So it's not just finish the stage really fast, it's finish the stage fast and taking out certain enemies. Now for this very first stage, it's a very short stage, so there aren't a lot of rings. But after you hit those first bumpers and you jump up onto that area, if you aim behind you, you'll find like 40 something rings back there. Oh, by the way, we got Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So yeah, cool. You'll see it again right here. If you shoot behind you, that's where you can find a bunch of rings. Otherwise, finishing the stage with the right amount of time, super easy. Now, the general, what you want to do for these is, for the ring ones, just collect rings, get through the stage like normal. You don't have to do it with a time limit. It's not hard to collect rings. There are a lot of rings in Gamma stages, and you can just mash B the whole time. However, I'm going to slow down right here because I want to show this specific stage in regular time, because this is the hardest trial of Gamma's. Emerald Coast A mission is really hard because you have to catch Froggy with more than with more than 3 minutes remaining, I think. Yeah, with more than 3 minutes remaining, and you start off with 3 minutes. So what you want to do for these specific types of stages, these A trials of Gamma, is you don't want to mash the B button and just destroy everything as you go. You want to find where the groups of enemies are, lock on to all of them, and then let go, because as you take out more enemies with a certain combo, you get more seconds. So if you were to take out 3 enemies individually, you'd get 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. But if you did it the other way, you'd get 6 seconds. Now the best way to finish his stage with the right amount of time left is right at the end. There's a big group of 5 enemies. Lock on to all of them, shoot them, and then grab Froggy after you shoot them, because even if they haven't all been killed yet, you'll still get the time remaining. Now for the other stages, it's super easy to get everything. Windy Valley is incredibly easy. There's a infinity capsule and there's a magnetic shield capsule, so you can get all sorts of rings all over the place. And then for, of course, taking out these bosses, it's literally just get in their face and mash B. For the time one, this is the easiest time one in the entire in all of his trials, because those purple like snake enemies, you can lock on to every segment of them and then let go, and no matter which segment it starts to kill first, it will kill all of the segments and give you an enemy for each one of those. So you can get somewhere around 70 seconds for each one. You start this stage with 3 minutes, and I end up finishing this stage with almost 6 minutes left. That one is so easy. Alright, now Red Mountain is a little more difficult. It's really not like horrible. Most of these stages, actually almost all of Gamma stages, are pretty easy for the most part. The only one that's not is that Emerald Coast that I slowed down, the A trial. That one can be pretty difficult. Getting all the rings and completing this stage can be a little difficult because there are a lot of enemies, but really if you mash B almost the whole time, you'll have no problem getting through it. And then of course there are a bunch of shields around everywhere, and just make sure you don't get hit by the bosses too much, and you should have no problem getting enough rings. I end up with 94, so not too bad at all. And with every other, as is the same with every other A trial, when you're going through these, you want to make sure that when you find groups of enemies, just lock on to all of them, then destroy them, because you'll get way more seconds for that kind of thing. And that's how you need to get through almost all of these stages. So when you're going through on the first trial, the B trial, as you're grabbing rings, you can kind of learn the layout of the level and where all the enemies are, and so that way you know where the groups of enemies are. And that's what I did for the most part. But otherwise, then when you get to the bosses, make sure you have about 10 seconds left on your timer, because they usually take around 10 seconds, maybe even slower if you take them out really fast. Now, Hot Shelter, as you remember, I had kind of a problem with the time on Hot Shelter back in our actual stage. I only finished with a second left, but here I'm telling you that it's not too hard to finish with. I think you have to finish this one with 2.5, or no, you need to finish this one with 2 minutes left. It's not that bad. The main reason I only finished with a second left is because I was only taking enemies out one at a time and getting 1 second. You definitely don't want to do that in this one. You want to make sure you take out enemies in groups. And another thing I didn't point out is those buttons. You can press those buttons just by shooting at them. You don't have to actually get on them and touch them. You can shoot at the buttons from a far distance, and that definitely helps with a lot of parts. This train right here is probably where you'll get most of your seconds back, because there's a lot of groups of enemies all over the place, and there's even some in the carts, so you can grab all sorts of time there. And then if you're really pushing for rings, if you, on this part where you're falling down, if you fall down on the very first part, you'll get a bunch of rings. And then if you fall down kind of like I did, I don't know if you saw it, but there's that ramp and I fell down above the ramp. There's some rings there too. So getting rings isn't too bad. Just make sure that when you get to Zeta here that you don't get hit too much. He's kind of a problem. But you can pick up a lot of shields in the level, so maybe it's not too bad. Now for getting through the time mission, it's a little bit harder, but if you just make sure you know where all the groups of enemies are when you're going through with your ring mission, it's not too bad. Just make sure that you lock onto all enemies regularly, and if you're really pushing for time, it's really easy to get a bunch of time back at the end of the level, because when you're falling down that whole section, as with the B mission, you can grab a bunch of rings, but there's also a bunch of enemies just kind of chilling on the ledge that you can kill all those, like, I think they're monkey enemies. You can kill all of them in a big group, and then you'll fall down to where that ramp part is, and you can kill all of them. Like, see right here, I killed all of them, and then I fell down to where these guys are and killed all of them. Still got a bunch of seconds left. And if you get to Zeta here with about 10 to 15 seconds left, you should be a-okay to finish this just the way it's supposed to. And with that, we have now finished every trial in the entire game. We have them all. We did everything that we needed to. We got, oh man, we got Sonic, we got Tails, we got Knuckles, we got Amy, we got E102, we got Big, we got all the Adventure Field. Now we just need to get all the minigame, all the Chow Race, and that last ending. We are almost to the very end of this game. We almost have it completed 100%. I think for the next one, I'm going to go to the Chow Race. The next episode, I will do the Chow Race, and then after that, I will do minigames and mission mode, and then we'll finish off the game after that with the Supersonic story. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click that like button. And I hope I will see you in the next video, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.